Hi everybody and welcome back to BI Navigation. In this video we're going to start to have a look at the structure of the BI Navigation financial template, see how those tables that you'll have seen in the previous video come about, where the data starts, and slowly but surely over the next couple of 3 videos we'll explain how the modelling works. So the structure file starts life off in a spreadsheet. Doesn't have to start in a spreadsheet. It could start in SQL Server or any database software that Power BI can access. Personally, and for ease of use and demonstration purposes, I've set that up in a spreadsheet. In my previous organisation, it all sat on SQL Server. And we need to think about dates to start with. So what date range are we working with? How far back does our history go? The date table itself is generated by Power BI when we load it up, but it needs to be fed a little bit more information to make the model work really well. So let's start with this table here. This table is known as key dates, and we can see that because we've named the table key dates. It wants to know what your current month end is. So what's your current end of period? In here I've said 30th of November 2020. The reason it needs to know that is not for Power BI to actually work in terms of the display and so on, but it needs that date to generate the data to produce paginated reports and PDFs at a later stage. Of itself for the model it's not terribly important, but if we want to produce PDFs from Power BI, it is. We need to know when the financial year end is. So in my example here it's 30th of June. The software can manage non-calendar year ends, so by putting that date in there, the software will know when the data loads what's happening and when the year starts and when the year ends. Budget year end, we can put some budget comparisons into the model to have a look over time, so just having that as a flag is helpful. Depends how we load the budget in there, and we can talk about that for you to come to BI Navigation, and we'll talk about your setup. And then over here we need a list of national holidays. Again, they're not terribly important if you don't need any statistics of working days or business days, but to make the calendar work and produce a business day count, we need to know when the official holidays are. So a fairly simple start point. What's my month end, what's my year end, and when are my national holidays? 2 tables of key dates to get the thing rolling. Then we need a list of companies, a company table. All these tables are best set up in Excel as tables. Excel can read them. Power BI can read them a lot more quickly and a lot more easily. And if you set them up as tables, then anything you might put over here gets ignored when the data uploads to Power BI. If you leave them as ranges, yes, Power BI will come and find them, but it will also try and pick up anything that's over here, and you don't really want that. That will error. So in here we can see we've got companies, could be different company names, but this company is a single company or a single group with 2 divisions, East and North. It has 3 sites within each division, and each of those sites has a business number, a unique business unit number. The business unit number is not terribly important as long as all the business units are unique. In a very, very large business, when we start to create the relationships in Power BI, if we work with numeric data or a numeric link, then it will run slightly faster than running with text. It's marginal, and in most businesses it's not terribly important. We then also need to know which order these are going to come in. If you look at division here, it says East and North. That would be the alphabetical flow, and that by default Power BI would create you a filter or a slicer in that order: East first, North next. It may be that you don't want that. It may be that you want North at the top and East at the bottom. In which case we apply a number to those so that when we get the data to Power BI, everything will sort correctly for us. These columns over here relate to paginated reports and the order of the data as it comes out, and I'll talk about those at a future point when we do the video on paginated reports and PDF generation. Moving on to departments, we have a list of departments here: retail, sales, repairs and service, wholesale, and similar to the site table that we looked at, or the company table that we looked at just a minute ago, we apply a number to them, we apply a sort sequence to them, we say whether they're profit and loss or balance sheet, and we can put more categorization into here as we go. If your business is quite complex, we can expand these categories, moving across to cater for whatever business structure you have. Very, very simple table next, the streams table. Every company has actuals, budgets. There's not necessity for a stream for last year. Power BI manages that with the calculation process in DAX. So typically most businesses will have actual in here and budget, possibly a forecast stream as well. And that's self-explanatory, that table. I'm going to move along. If you looked at the BINav demo on my website, binavigation.com, you'll see that we can see numbers in thousands or around thousands, and this is the table that helps achieve that. And we'll see how that works when we look at some of the formulae in the Power BI template when we've been through some of the background tables. I'm going to close this video off here. And in the next video we'll talk about the ledger map and the report design table. Thanks for watching. Talk soon. Cheers. Bye bye.